with the current state you're in, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed in you right now.
Fight!
Good morning, afternoon, and evening everyone, Nick here, and welcome back to the channel. I really wasn't expecting to make a video like this so early during MK1's lifetime. Over the past couple of weeks, big MK content creators have talked about the ongoing issues and state of the game currently. Many are claiming the game is on a downward spiral, and some are outright admitting that the game is either dying or dead. Right now, I'd like to add my 2 cents and play doctor. I'm going to diagnose the issues and find possible resolutions to get this game into a better state. Now, if you ask me, I've really enjoyed my time with this game. Back when I did my video on all the MK games ranked, this game had ranked pretty high, with the positives being the amazing gameplay, roster, and the fun story. I didn't dive too much into the other negatives besides the big elephant in the room. In terms of gameplay, this game is absolutely a top tier game. If I rank this on just gameplay alone, it's at an A. However, when you look at the entire package, especially the current state we're in, we've got some problems we need to address. Now, I've been paying a lot to the community's feedback and responses to this game. I've even asked what everyone likes and dislikes about this game. Many of you stated your favorite being the gameplay or the story mode, but your negatives varied from the invasions mode, lack of local content, and some story details or the post-launch support. First off, thank you for providing your input with your favorite and least favorite aspects of Mortal Kombat 1. I agree with many of you after reading these. I'd like to talk a little bit more in depth of some of my biggest issues and how they can be addressed or fixed moving forward. One of the biggest issues players were facing was not the other player online, but the desync issues. Compilations were shared all over Twitter with these issues, games disconnecting as soon as you clash, or would even disconnect before the round even started. So many people shared their issues with this, and MK's social media did respond eventually. However, this didn't help getting faith back into the community. They stated that the patch went out and would fix the desync issues, but in a twist better than anything M. Night could have done, it didn't. Desync still caused players' online experience to be pretty rough for quite some time, but ever since Chameleon had released, my online experience has been loads better without any desyncs or drops. Well, on the bright side is that the online wasn't working the best, you could always switch to the other modes. They have been a staple in every Mortal Kombat game. Unfortunately, MK1 doesn't offer too many offline modes if your online experience just isn't working right or it's not there. For an example, you have yourself the Wonderful Story mode, Ladder mode, Tutorial, and Practice. Invasions mode doesn't count because you do need to be online in order to access this. With all of these modes, it's kind of limited in comparison to something like Mortal Kombat 9 or Mortal Kombat X. Now sure, you can spend a lot of time in practice mode mixing up your main fighter and cameo fighter for some crazy combos, seeing which works best for each scenario, but that's kind of lacking in comparison to its competitors currently. Say what you want about Street Fighter 6, but World Tour mode and other versus options just make the game so much more fun if you just want to play offline with a friend. So my suggestion would be, if you want to improve the local experience, here's something they can do. Outside of the upcoming story expansion, which Ed Boon confirmed during Quan Chi's trailer premiere, we deserve some more modes. There have been some rumors along with some data mining suggesting a tag team style mode would be coming. Now, I can't confirm if this is true or not, but this is exactly a mode that we need to make local modes more fun. Hell, it would make tournament play for this game even more fun to watch. Along with that, let's add some more local modes like Test Your Luck, or even some old and almost forgotten modes from the PS2 era, like Puzzle Combat or Chess Combat. Remember when Ed Boon teased on Twitter that one of the classic PS2 modes might be coming back in that whole truth or troll thing I did a while back? This game desperately needs some more local modes for player retention. They've already stated they want to support this game for years and years, longer than the previous titles, so prove it with some more content. And speaking of content, one common thing I've been hearing many MK content creators point out is that we're currently in a dry spot for content, and I agree. We were on a good pace when it came to Omni-Man releasing in early November, but things started to get interesting when we learned Tremor's release date was later that month. This did hint that we would have an odd release schedule, with some characters coming out either weeks to a month and a half apart from each other. If there was one game that nailed the content drops and character drops perfectly, it was Mortal Kombat X. Characters released from May until late July, For the longest time, I complained that the content drops for other fighters, like Tekken 7's first season, and even Street Fighter 6's content schedules, sticking with one character per season of the year coming out. But if WB is deciding to do this to maintain a longer lifespan of the game, this isn't the best way of doing it. It honestly feels weird that we have a main roster character, few weeks to a month later is a cameo, and then followed by a few weeks to a month later is another main character. It just feels odd. If character drops are going to be spaced out like this, maybe take notes from other games that do the games as service platform by including some more fun limited time features in between big releases or some bigger updates. If we are going to get a Combat Pack 2, then I heavily suggest to WB Games to go with this route. I'm sorry, but tiny things inside of Invasions mode isn't working. Speaking of, something I had mentioned a couple of times already, but Invasions mode. At first it started off as pretty promising, and it seemed like it would be a fun side mode to play after you're finished with the story mode, or wanted to rank up each of your fighters. After 3 seasons of Invasion content, this mode is getting a little tedious and repetitive. I will admit that the rewards we get are fun and nice, such as the Order of Darkness costumes for Scorpion and Sub-Zero, but this mode isn't doing much to reel me back after I get the big reward. It was nice that the devs did listen to some of the criticisms the community had with this mode, but if they're updating this mode with fixes season by season, which could be a month and a half to 2 months, then that's a little too slow for patches and updates to come out and roll out. I wouldn't mind if we had a shorter pause on seasons to add more content, or more ways to incentivize players to play this mode more, say with like limited time events or some more fun engaging content added inside of the Invasions mode. If you want this mode to feel more rewarding, then provide some rewards or credits we can use to unlock more gear for our characters. This was marketed as one of the big moves for the game, which replaced the old legacy mode, the Crypt. Speaking of currency, our last topic will focus on some of the modes or complaints I have mentioned range from being somewhat minor to more irritating, but this is easily my biggest issue along with many people in the community, and that is the monetization practice. It's pretty awful. At first, I was a little bit mixed on it and it didn't seem too predatory. After a couple of seasons and looking at the content drops that we've had, these issues have only gotten worse. Items you can buy with Dragon Crystals, this version's game of V-Bucks, you can either skip the grind and get items early or nab yourself some exclusive costumes in the premium shop. My biggest issue with this is that many of the items can already be found in this game's shrine feature, meaning you could spend some real world money and just get something you could have unlocked by doing some random number generator slot. I'm not even kidding when I say this. There have been several times where I would look into the premium shop, close out of it, and realize I had enough coins to go into the shrine, then go into the shrine and find an item that was in the premium shop from there. Sure, it may not have been an exclusive item from the premium shop, but it was still a rare item that could be bought in the premium shop. It honestly just makes things feel less exclusive and more of like a skip the grind type of feature. When I asked the community for their biggest issues with this game, nearly everyone mentioned the monetization practices, which I agree wholeheartedly. Now I know many of you have been blaming NRS and Ed Boon for these issues, but honestly, it's not their fault. They're the ones that create the modes, program the game, and decide what story direction to go with this. They're not more of the business practice people. This actually comes down to their publisher, and that's WB Games. Mentioned in November of 2023, one of their higher ups said that they were pushing for more live service elements into their future titles. Big yikes, I know. This means that more future titles from WB Games are enforcing elements you'd see in something like Fortnite or Apex, and we have already seen the negative reception the Suicide Squad game is getting with this feature implemented. If anyone from WB happens to be watching this video, please fix this issue. Either make the shop feel more rewarding when you purchase a pack, like with MK9 through MK11 skin packs, rather than spending $10 for a single costume. This shop really needs a big overhaul rather than another way to milk the players. This is a AAA game that has practices of a free-to-play game. WB, please do better. The one big thing that many content creators have been asking is MK1 dying. If you want my take, I don't think so. We're currently in a weird dry patch of content where things have slowed down. Omni-Man was a great addition and it was super fun to play. Tremor was an alright cameo. Quan Chi wasn't the character for me and many other content creators, and Chameleon interested players to come back and check her out, along with mixing her into their mains. With Peacemaker set to release within the next few weeks, I think player retention will get better, along with more interesting characters coming down the pipeline. After reviewing a recent report, Mortal Kombat 1 was one of the highest selling games of 2023. Many people state that MK1 is weaker in comparison to Street Fighter 6 or the upcoming Tekken 8, but here's the one thing that Mortal Kombat has over Street Fighter 6 and Tekken. It's that it's more appealing to a casual audience. Similar to MK11, this game may not be preferred by the competitive FGC, but if you're a newbie to fighting games or want to check it out, this is probably the one game that people are going to look at. It offers some fun modes that just gravitates new players, ranging from the fun story mode, the recognizable cast, super moves, and fatalities for casuals to enjoy. Hell, if you even look at some of the comment sections of some of my videos, many people don't even play the games, they just look at the rankings and they just want to see the big appeal to the series. Now, am I saying that I don't like Street Fighter or Tekken? No, not one bit. I love both of those games and I'd love to cover them both on the channel. Now, am I saying that I want MK1 to die or I want Warner Brothers games to fail? No, I don't want them to. I don't want the failure of anybody. I just want them to do better and I just want them to listen. For now, I just want WB to reconsider all of their monetization practices, and I want NetherRealm Studios to address major issues first and handle it correctly, along with being more open to the community. We've seen some rough patches in this industry so far. Take a look at games like Halo Infinite, Street Fighter V, Star Wars Battlefront 2, Final Fantasy XIV, or even Cyberpunk 2077. If there's one thing that these games have taught us, it's that if a lot of people can make their voices heard, the publishers and developers will listen and they can make it right for us. And I hope that Warner Brothers games can learn from us and they can do the same. But hey, that's just one person's take on this game and how it can be improved. Where do you stand on it and where do you think you could see this game getting improved? Share your thoughts down below and let's have a nice, civil, and respectful conversation down below. Now, if you'd like to see more Mortal content, MK discussions, and rankings, consider showing your support today by dropping a like, subscribing, and sharing. I'm just a team of one, and without you, this channel is nothing. Your support means so much to me, so stay tuned in the community tab for updates and upcoming projects, such as Tekken 8 Rage Arts Ranked, along with the return of all costumes ranked for Raiden and Melina coming soon. Until then, thank you so much for your support. My name is Nick, and have an amazing rest of your day.
Fight!